I'm going to explain to you why I decided to go from investing in silver to cryptocurrencies. Now, before I get poo-pooed by any of the silver bugs out there, I still think silver is a great investment. In fact, I think it's a much better investment now than what it was when I first started buying it in 2007. See, I thought it was going to go up a lot, and I still think it's going to go up a lot. But when I was buying back then, I knew I wouldn't be selling my silver into 2015 to 2020, somewhere in there. And it looks like things are going a little bit slow, so it may even be after 2020. But there's still a good chance that the silver price is going to go up significantly within the next year or two. But the big problem is that silver is manipulated. So there's not much we can do about it. The silver price is determined by basically paper silver, fake silver. More silver is traded in the paper form digitally in computers, every year. Then more is traded and sold than what we have to sell by far. So it's not really a real market. It's not. The price of silver isn't traded on a free market. It's a manipulated market. So, the price of the physical silver that you buy is determined by computers. So it's not an accurate reflection. The value of silver is much more than what you can sell it at. So it's still good to buy silver. In fact, if you don't have any silver, I recommend you buying some. And I'll do more videos in depth in the future about buying silver and why I did, and why it's a great investment. But I'm not going to get too much into it now, but I will say that either way, when the price is allowed to be freely exchanged with a fair price, a real price for physical silver bullion, the price is going to go through the roof. It's hard to say how high because it's been manipulated for so long. And every year there becomes more and more demand for silver. And the amount of silver that we have to buy decreases. We're using silver up at a rate higher than what we're mining it. So yes, silver is mined more abundantly than gold. Like 9 or 10 times as much silver is mined than there is gold. But the gold, most of it just sits there. Whereas silver is being used. We're using more than we're mining. So the supply is going backwards. There's actually about the same amount of silver investors can buy as there is gold. So just off that, silver should be somewhere priced around gold. If there's about the same amount to buy, but there's more demand for silver, arguably could be more valuable than gold. But it's not. And it won't be until the manipulation ends, which is why, it's been a rough 10 years. And I thought silver would be up a lot higher by this point. But the good news is, if you want to buy silver, like let's say we hit that point in 2020 when it's time to sell silver and the price is to the moon. If you buy right now, we're almost 2018, so let's just call it 2018. You only have to wait 2 years to sell your silver. And while I may have bought some at 12 or 13, I had to wait 12 years, 13 years. Whereas you only have to wait 2 years. So you get practically the same return in a fraction of the time. So I'm more bullish on silver now than ever before. So you may be asking, well, if you're that bullish on silver, why are you now investing in cryptocurrencies? Well, the short reason I already explained, because silver isn't going anywhere. It's not moving in price. And, I've been sitting on my silver for over 10 years. So, meanwhile, the cryptos are moving. The cryptos are moving big time. And I don't think that the two are completely separate. I don't think that the rise in cryptos is a bad thing for precious metals, because the reason why cryptos are rising is the same reasons that silver should have rose. There's big problems in our monetary system, not just in the US, but the world, because when the US went off the gold standard in 1971, the whole world went off the gold standard with it. And that was the first time in world history this has ever happened before. And every time a country would go off an asset-backed currency, it was doomed to fail. They always failed. But in history, it would just be one country here, one country there. Throughout history, this would happen. But in 71, because the world reserve currency was the dollar, when the dollar went off the gold standard, the whole world went off the gold standard, and we've been doomed ever since. So we have tremendous problems in the monetary system. And, for a while, everyone was thinking that we're going to go back to a gold and silver backed currency. But it's starting to look like that may not even happen, and it may not need to happen. In fact, silver is probably too rare to be used as currency. So we don't need to go back to a silver-backed currency for this price of silver to be expensive. Price of silver could and should go to the moon, even if it's not being used as currency, because it doesn't need to be sitting in a vault somewhere, with dollars floating around to represent the silver that's sitting in a vault. Silver has so many uses. And the more industrialized the world becomes, using cell phones, tablets, solar panels, computers, all these things, anything that conducts electricity, the more demand there is going to be for silver. So, we need some other solution for a currency. And it looks like the cryptocurrencies may be the solution we've been needing this whole time. But it wasn't actually the use of cryptocurrencies as money that got me on board with investing in cryptos. It was actually blockchain technology in general. See, once I learned that it was bigger than Bitcoin, then I started looking more into it. It took me a little while to wrap my head around the whole concept. And now that, I'm starting to grasp it, every day I become more and more of a believer. And I think that this has the potential to change the world. And from what I can see, and from what the smart people in the room say, that, it's for the good. It's for the very good. It's for freedom. It's against, Big Brother being able to watch over every transaction. There are concerns, like, oh, well, this seems to coincide with their goal of a cashless society. But the thing is in a cashless society where the banks can see all of your transactions because they're all on a debit card or credit card, that's what they want, because then the government has control over the banks, and they can say, hey, look, let me freeze this account, and this and that. Well, with cryptos, it's open source, so everyone can see the code of the program that has been written, but they can't see the people. They can't see your accounts. They can't freeze your account. They can't intercept payments going. They have no control over it because they don't have your password, basically. So, it may lead us towards a direction of a cashless society, but not in the way that the bankers envision it, where they have control over the cashless money. So, maybe there's something that I'm overlooking and that everyone's overlooking. You know, even if it turns out to be not the great thing that it's supposed to be, and ends up biting us in the butt. In order for us to bite us in the butt, like odds are it would have to become this big thing that controls everyone. And even if that happens, if you get in at the early stage, at least you made some profit along the way. I don't have enough money to where my investing into cryptos is gonna make or break it. So if you just have silver and you don't have any cryptos, you might want to start investing in cryptos. That's where I was. I'm not saying sell your silver, but I sold a little bit. Um, but you may want to, because you can take the profit from your cryptos and buy back your silver really quick. I maybe got lucky, but I doubled my money, like in a week. So yeah, I mean, the thing is you don't have to do one or the other. But if you have all silver now, you may want to consider buying some cryptos. And if you have all cryptos and no silver, and you've made huge gains in your cryptos, you may want to start taking some of the gains from your cryptos and moving them into other asset classes, such as precious metals, would be the most in line with Bitcoin and stuff like that. So, that's pretty much where I am with it. I have just been sitting on silver for a long time, it doing nothing. I saw the opportunity there with cryptos. I've done a few videos. I'll put a link to the intro to cryptos video in the description below, where I give a brief little intro to cryptocurrencies. I'm still a newbie. I'm just learning about it. But I'm going to be covering more content because this is important. For one reason, it's important because we need to break ourselves free from the financial system, to break us free from the financial constraints imposed upon us by the financial system. And in order to do that, we have to take control of our financial destiny. We can't let it just happen to us, whatever happens by default, because by default you're going to be poor or middle class at best. So we've got to do something about that for our own personal freedom. And the more people that we have that are educated about this, and the more people that we have that are free, like financially free, that then you can spend your time learning more and more about how to change the world to make it a better place. The more people that we have in those situations, the better this world is going to be. Right now, everyone's bogged down, spending all their time with jobs they can't stand, working with people they can't stand, just to make barely enough money to pay for a lifestyle that they're not happy with. So we've got to change that. So we've got to break free from these financial constraints, but also there's a whole understanding of the transition from the old system, the old financial system, but not just financial, because a lot of other systems are collapsing and they need to be replaced by a new system. And I've known this for years, and I've been spending my time trying to figure out what to do, what new system can replace these old systems. And it's been hard. It's been hard searching for answers, and I feel like the blockchain technology could bring a lot of solutions to these problems. And I hope that it works. And in the meantime, if I can profit from it, why not? And so, one way to get your feet wet is just put a little bit of money in there, so you've got a little skin in the game. Then you care more. It's like when you're betting on a sports team. You're rooting for them way more than you would be if you didn't have any money on the game. So put a little bit of money in cryptos. Do some research first. Figure out what you're doing, and then use that as fuel to motivate you to learn more about the cryptos, about the future of cryptos, about how they can change the world, about blockchain technology, and just learn more about other cryptos. And which will inevitably lead you to learning about the financial system, the Federal Reserve, things like that. That people really, we're not really given a good education about this stuff in school. They don't want us to know about money. And you know sadly enough, we spend most of our lives working for it. Most of our waking lives, we spend a third of our lives sleeping, and then a lot of what we're awake, we're working for money. And we spend 12 years in a school system that doesn't really teach us much about it. And that's no accident. This is all on purpose. But for the people that are into silver for all the right reasons, cryptos are not the enemy. They are raising awareness of a lot of these issues. And a lot of these people that are buying cryptos now, they will be buying precious metals. And a lot of the people came from the precious metals industry, but a lot of the people from precious metals have not accepted the cryptos open arms, and I didn't either. It took me years, and boy, am I upset that it took me that long, because I think Bitcoin was like $20 when I first heard about it, and I was like, I wish I would have. But though Bitcoin was the first one to like lead the race, it was a pioneer. There's others behind it. There's already others that have seen huge gains, and there's lots more behind it, most likely. At least I think. So, there's plenty of opportunity. This is still at the very beginning. And luckily, like when Bitcoin was $20, that was at the very beginning. It was very risky, very uncharted territory. Whereas now it's like it's established enough to where we can still get in on some of these other smaller brand new companies who haven't even brought a product or service to the marketplace. And we can get their coins or their tokens, their cryptos, at ridiculously low prices in an industry that is getting ready to explode, but still isn't so new it hasn't established itself yet. So, if you found this informative, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate all the thumbs up, all the subscribers, all of the comments, even the stupid ones. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. If you're brand new to precious metals, brand new to cryptos, if you're crossing over from one side to the next, or what got you here, let's get the conversation going, because people need to be aware of what it is. And odds are, no matter where you stand on the spectrum, there's other people that are where you are or where you were and need to get where you are. So let us know where you are with this whole thing in the comments below. And you know what? Have yourself a wonderful day. I hope that this inspires you to do some type of investment for your future.